1.2, solving multi-step equations. So when we're talking about multi-step equations, there are a few rules that we need to make sure we follow. So the first would be distribute. So if you have anything that needs distributed through, do that first. Then you're going to combine like terms. Add, subtract, then multiply or divide. So the first example we have here, it says the sum S of the angle measures of a polygon with n sides can be found by using the formula S equals 180 times n minus 2. Write and solve an equation to find each value of x. Justify your steps in your solution, then find the angle measures of each polygon. How can you check the reasonableness of your answers? So looking here at the first one, it tells me up here that my formula, S equals 180 times n minus 2. Triangles have 3 sides, so 180 times 3 minus 2. Well, 3 minus 2 is 1, so I know the sum of the angle measures is going to be 180 degrees. So to find the value of x, to find the measure of each one, I need to add all those together. So we have 30 plus 9x plus 30 plus x. All I did was add these all the way around. And the sum is going to be 180. So I don't have anything to distribute, so I need to combine like terms. So I'm putting my friends together. So like terms need to have the same variable with the same exponents or constants. So I have 9x plus 1x gives me 10x. I have 30 plus 30 gives me 60 equals 180. I need to get 10x all by itself, so if I'm adding 60 to get rid of that, I am going to subtract 60. And I'm going to move my work over here just because I'm running out of space. So I have 10x equals 180 minus 60 is 120. I need x all by itself. So if I'm multiplying by 10, I need to divide by 10. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And 120 divided by 10 is 12. So on this one, I know that the value of x is 12. To find the value of each angle measure, I'm just going to substitute 12 in everywhere I see an x. So this is going to be 9 times 12. You can use your calculator if you need to. 9 times 12 is 108. Here I have 30 plus x, so 30 plus 12, and that will give me 42. So the way I can check to make sure that I have found those angle measures correctly, when I add all of those together, so when I add 30, 108, and 42 together, it should equal up to 180. So I'll give you a second to figure that out, make sure that it checks. Okay, moving on. Going to go ahead and go down here and work on some of these. So we're doing the same thing here that we did on the top. So it tells me that the sum is 180 times n minus 2. And for this one, we're just going to work on f. That way I have enough room to write out the problem. So sum is 180 times the number of sides minus 2. So we need to count our sides. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 2. We're going to do parentheses first. Order of operations says do what's inside of parentheses. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And then we're going to multiply. 180 times 4 will give me 720 degrees. So I know that the sum of all of these angles has to be 720. So I'm going to start with this one right here and then just write them all out. So I have 2x plus 8. The next one is plus 4x minus 18 plus 2x plus 25 plus 3x minus 7. And then this one is telling me that both of these angles are 3x plus 16. So I need to add that twice. 3x plus 16 plus 3x plus 16. All of those together equals 720. So my first step is to combine like terms. So I have 2x, 4x, 2x, 3x, 3x, and 3x. 2 and 4 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 3 is 17. If you can look at these and just add them up without writing out that step, you do not have to write that whole thing out. Okay, looking at the rest, I have 8 minus 18 plus 25 minus 7 plus 16 plus 16. That's going to give me 40. Equals 720. Next, I need to work on getting 17x by itself. So if I'm adding 40, the inverse is subtracting 40. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now I have 17x equals 680. If I'm multiplying by 17, the inverse is divide. So divide both sides by 17. And x equals 40. So to find each angle measure, I need to plug 40 in for x on all of these. So this one I'm going to have 2 times 40 plus 8. 2 times 40 is 80 plus 8 is 88. Looking at the next one, I have 4 times 40 minus 18. 4 times 40 is 160, minus 18 is 142. Down here for this one, I have 2 times 40 plus 25. So that's 80 plus 25 gives me 105. This one is 3 times 40 minus 7. 3 times 40 is 120, minus 7 is 113. And then both of these, which I'm going to write over here, is 3 times 40 plus 16. 3 times 40 again is 120 plus 16 is 136. The next slide just says to solve a multi-step equation, simplify each side of the equation if necessary, then use inverse operations to isolate the variable, which is what we just did. We combined like terms, added or subtracted, then multiplied or divided. We're coming down here to this next example. We have 2.5x minus 13 equals 2. So our first thing that we need to do is work on getting that 2.5x by itself. If I'm subtracting 13, to get rid of it, I add 13. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now I have 2.5x equals 15. If I'm multiplying by 2.5, the inverse would be to divide by 2.5. So x equals 6. And it wants me to check my solution. So again, we write the word check. 2.5 times x, which is 6, minus 13 equals 2. 2.5 times 6 is 15. Minus 13 equals 2. 15 minus 13 is 2. So 2 equals 2, and it checks. The next one we have negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. So the first thing that we need to do here is combine like terms. So put our friends together. So we have negative 12 equals, and we have 9x minus 6x. So that's 3x plus 15. I need to get 3x by itself. So if I'm adding 15, the inverse is to subtract. Negative 12 minus 15, so that would be the same as negative 12 plus negative 15. It's going to give you negative 27. If I'm multiplying by 3, the inverse is divide. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this around and say x equals, so a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 27 divided by 3 is 9. And again, we're going to check this one. So I don't do anything on this side. So that negative 12 is going to stay the same. I'm not going to change it. I want to try to get this side to equal negative 12. So we have 9 times negative 9 minus 6 times negative 9 plus 15 should give me negative 12. So this side, like I said, negative 12 equals negative 9 times positive 9 is negative 81. Negative times a negative is a positive. 6 times 9 is 54. Plus 15 should give me negative 12. Negative 81 plus 54 plus 15 is negative 12. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and skip here to number 2 because we haven't done any with fractions yet. So I have negative 21 equals 1/2 c minus 11. So I need to get 1/2 c all by itself. So I'm subtracting 11. To get rid of it, I need to add 11. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So now I have negative 21 plus 11 gives me negative 10 equals 1/2 times c. So remember, fractions are really like division. So this is actually, I'm dividing c by 2. So the inverse of divide would be multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 2. So that gives me 1c. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Multiply by 2. So 2 times negative 10 is negative 20. And I'm going to check my answer. So negative 21 equals 1/2 times negative 20 minus 11. So I have negative 21 equals 1/2 times negative 20 is negative 10, and then minus 11. So these are the same sign, so I add and keep the sign. So negative 21 equals negative 21, and it checks. Okay, on our next slide, we have 2 times the difference of 1 and x plus 3 equals negative 8. So remember, first thing I said we need to do is distribute. So I'm distributing that 2 to everything inside those parentheses. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. Plus 3 equals negative 8. Now I need to combine like terms. Well, the x doesn't have any friends, so he's just hanging out. Then I have 2 plus 3 is 5 equals negative 8. I need to get negative 2x all by itself. So I need to subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 2x equals negative 8 minus 5, which is negative 13. And if I'm multiplying by negative 2, to get rid of it, I divide. both sides by -2. So x equals, and you can leave that as an improper fraction. It will be easier to check that way. So a negative over a negative makes a positive, and we're just going to leave it as 13/2. And we will check it. So I have 2 times 1 minus x, 1 minus 13/2 plus 3 equals -8. So order of operations says that I need to do what's inside of the parentheses first. So I'm going to have 2 times 1 minus 13/2, which is going to give me -11/2 plus 3 equals -8. Multiply 2 times -11/2. So those are going to cancel, and now I just have -11 plus 3 equals -8. -11 plus 3 is -8, and it checks. So let's go ahead and we'll skip B, we'll do C. So I need to distribute on both of these. So that means I'm multiplying everything inside of here by 5, everything inside of here by 2. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times -x is -5x. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times -x is -2x, and then equals 14. Next thing is to combine like terms, so putting my friends together. So I have -5x minus 2x, so same sign, add and keep the sign, -7x. And I have 15 plus 6 is 21 equals 14. I need to get -7x all by itself, so subtract 21. And I have -7x equals -7. If I'm multiplying by -7 to get rid of it, I divide. So divide both sides by -7. And -7 divided by -7 is 1. And we will check this one as well. So we have 5 times 3 minus 1 plus 2 times 3 minus 1 should give me 14. So do inside parentheses first. So 5 times 2 plus 2 times 2 equals 14. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. And 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay. Use the table to find the number of miles X you need to bike on Friday so that the mean number of miles biked per day is 5. So in case you have forgotten, mean is the average. So that means you add all of the numbers together and divide by the total number. So for this one, you would add all of the miles for every day and then divide by the total number of days. So we have 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 0 plus 5 plus x divided by 5 days should average 5. So combine like terms on the top. We have 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 0 plus 5 gives me 14 plus x divided by 5 equals 5. I'm working on getting this by itself, so I need to multiply both sides by 5. Now I have 14 plus x equals 25. I need x all by itself, so subtract 14. and x equals 11. And this is a word problem. Word problems need words. So my label is miles. Okay. You have 96 feet of fencing to enclose a rectangular pen for your dog to provide sufficient running space for your dog to exercise. The pen should be 3 times as long as it is wide. Find the dimensions of the pen. So the first thing I need to do here is define my variables. So I'm going to say, since it says that it's 3 times as long as it is wide, we'll say let W equal the width, and let 3W equal the length. To find perimeter, I know that perimeter is 2 length plus 2 width. So I know that I need to do 2 times 3W plus 2 times W, and it's going to give me 96. 2 times 3 is 6W plus 2W equals 96. Combine like terms, 6W plus 2W, 8W equals 96. I need W all by itself, so I'm going to divide by 8. And 96 divided by 8 is 12. So my width is 12, and again I need a label of feet. So if the width is 12, 3 times the width, which is my length, is 36 feet. And I'm done with that one. Okay, looking at the last couple examples here, it says write and solve an equation to find the number. We're not going to solve them, we're just going to write out the equations. If you were to have one on your homework that says write and solve, you will need to do both. But for the sake of time, we're just going to write them out.